What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, and as you can see, I've got a really special guest with me. I've got Derek Larger. Is it Larger or Larger? I thought it was. I've heard some people say Larger, and I'm like, I swear it's larger. But, well, why don't you go ahead and give these guys, I'm sure they know who you are, but if they don't, I got some guys in here that are Patriots fans that follow me around from Dear Pats Nation, like Chris Summers and Kincado and Pedro and some other guys. Let them know who you are and where they can find you. Hey, I appreciate you coming on. We kind of made this deal. I think it was Saturday where I joined your stream, you joined mine. I had a great time kind of grading our the Indianapolis Colts picks yesterday. Few people said that I was a little bit stingy with the grades and I didn't like it. I didn't feel like I was too stingy with the grades. I thought a B was a fair assessment overall. Yeah, yeah, but still, it was. I think it's fair, considering there was one major thing that I felt like the Colts wanted to get, and that they needed and wasn't able to get. But outside of that, I thought they did a really good job. What was your overall thoughts for the Colts draft? Can't hear. Oh, hold on. I know what's wrong. Give me a second. All right, let's try that again.
All right, let's try this again. Am I muted, guys? Am I good now?
You're good now. I can see your audio
All
moving.
right, sweet. All right, well, you asked about that, so all right, let's see if everybody else here enjoys it. But yeah, so I was in the same boat as you. I thought that the Colts really addressed positions that they really needed. Um, but outside of that, I'm like with a lot of fans who agreed that the Colts probably could have taken advantage of the left tackle market and a few other things that I felt that they could have done more with. Sometimes that's just part of the NFL draft where guys are just taken before who you had and what you wanted to go with. I mean, you were in the room with Kevin Rogers when we were in there, and he mentioned how, a couple guys just slipped before we were able to get them. So just how things are, we kind of wanted Ballard to potentially trade up and get somebody, but they felt that they didn't need to. Um, I gave it a B minus, somewhat toward a C plus, but I mean, I felt that it attacked enough needs and got enough playmakers that I believe that, for the next few years coming, I feel like these guys are going to do what they need to do.
All right, all right. Another thing, just for everybody to know, Derek, go ahead because apparently you were muted. Tell everybody where they about yourself and where they can find you again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess I must be. Derek Larger, co-host of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. I know a couple people in the chat, but if you guys don't know, co-host of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Derek_Larger. You can follow our podcast at BTJ Pod. You guys can find us at every social media site, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. You guys can do that. I greatly appreciate all of you.
All right, so we're going to come to the first question. It's actually a Patriots fan, Kincado21. I don't know how good they are because I have been busy studying film the last 2 days over some of our picks to do film rooms. But he asked, how good are the Colts undrafted free agents? And do you know why the Patriots haven't signed any?
I can't speak for Bill Belichick and those guys. I can't. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you.
As for the Colts, so far they've signed 5 that I know of. Linebacker out of Liberty, Anthony Butler. BYU linebacker Isaiah Kafusi. I may be pronouncing that correctly.
Bossy, I think is what it is.
Running back Deion Jackson from Duke. Wide receiver Tarek Black out of Texas. And another wide receiver, Tyler Vaughns out of USC.
Tyler Vaughns did play with Michael Pittman. So, teammates once again. And that Duke running back was very interesting. Some undrafted free agents this year got some serious bank. There was I don't remember what team it was or what player it was, but some undrafted free agent got paid $150,000 because they were that serious on making sure this guy got signed that they were willing to budge and give him that much money. That's a lot of money for an undrafted free agent. And even the Colts went a little higher with this Deion Johnson guy from Duke. Apparently his stats were really freaking good. I mean, he had some really good numbers. They think they can really use him in the special teams game, which I find to be very interesting. Maybe they use him in the punt return rather than Nyheim Hines. Keep Nyheim Hines off of punt returns. But who knows how that's going to work. But obviously they viewed him as an exceptional commodity if they were willing to overspend a little bit to make sure he got signed.
Yeah. Before I get to the next question, don't forget, while you're here, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag the notification bell, make sure all notifications are turned on because you know how YouTube is. Sometimes they won't notify you unless you got it turned on. Yep. Don't forget, links in the description for my Patreon and my merch shop. And if you're going to do a big super chat, which sometimes you guys do and surprise the heck out of me, use the tip jar on the Streamlabs rather than YouTube because YouTube takes 65%. Okay, and Streamlabs, that tip jar, it'll still pop up on my screen. I'll still be able to share it with you guys, but I get 92% of that. So, huge difference. Next question from Matthew Stansberry. I'm not convinced one way or the other if the Colts are better or worse this draft after last draft. What do you think?
I think people are going way overboard with saying that this team is worse after this draft. I think they just look way too far beyond the losses we took and don't look at the exception to what we actually acquired. Nobody's talking about that we got Carson Wentz and we think Carson Wentz with a year or two in this system can make us a Super Bowl team with rejoining Frank Reich. You have, obviously, we lost Anthony Costanzo, which we still believe we're going to add to that. Yes, we lost some veteran defensive ends, but we required some young defensive ends to replace them. We got a playmaker at tight end, a couple playmakers at other positions. I mean, I don't think this team is any worse off than what it was than when we left it. Now, do I think it's better than what it was? That's still left to be seen, but any worse? I don't necessarily think this team is worse than what they were last year. I really don't believe that.
I agree with you. I actually do think they're a little bit better. First off, I think Carson Wentz is, even without a surefire, Pro Bowl left tackle, even if we have an average or good left tackle, we were able to find one even just slightly better than Sam Tebby that we have on our roster currently. I think he's going to play fanatically better because he's not going to get sacked 50 times in 12 games, right?
Right.
There's just no way. Even if there's outside pressure.
No matter what left tackle we have out there, Wentz is not getting sacked 50 times next year.
No.
He's probably not even going to get sacked 40 times. So everybody just needs to kind of relax on that.
Yeah, exactly. Because, the Colts, I've said this over and over and over, we got one of the best interior pass rush defending lines in the NFL. And
Is there almost not a single NFL team in right now that would say, give me the Colts offensive line as it stands right now over theirs? There's probably like 3 teams that will probably say no, and the other 28 would say, yes, please, give it to me right now. I mean, people just need to relax. The left tackle is important. We're going to address it, but the rest of the offensive line is still really solid, guys. Exactly. I mean, he had no offensive line at all anywhere with the Eagles, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, and without that offensive line and all the injuries to his weapons that he had last year, that was his down year. And every year prior to that, he was throwing 63% completions, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, or some crap like that. So he's going to be fine. I think he'll be just fine. When it comes to the defensive ends, losing Autry and Houston, both those guys were 30 plus. All right.
Yeah, they were 32 and 33.
Yeah, I mean, they were both getting to that age. Ballard and Reich and Eberflus wanted to get younger at that, and they are about as young of a defensive line as you could possibly get in the NFL, and with all these guys having incredibly high ceilings. So I think that actually they are better overall as a team right now. Yes, Rivers incredibly accurate as a quarterback last year, but he was not mobile. He could not really extend plays very well because, he was not very mobile. And his arm strength left a lot for wanting. He couldn't throw the ball in tight spots the way Wentz will be able to do. So, yeah, I absolutely think that we're going to be better. And hopefully Marlon Mack will be able to play the entire season. So that'll make our running back stable even that much more dangerous. I'm perfectly okay with what we got so far outside of the left tackle, But it's not, as you say, it's not as big of a problem as people make it out to be. My Patriots Update says, why did the Colts draft Sam Ellinger? Any real reasons, or do you think he's just a filler?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it is a filler spot. You have that third quarterback spot that you want to make sure you acquire. But also, guys, I know there's a lot of Jacob Eason stands out there. And I know a lot of you probably aren't going to like what I'm about to say here, but the Colts are not sold on Jacob Eason, guys. I mean, they're not. If they were sold on him, then they wouldn't have had to worry about getting a quarterback this offseason. They still think he's got time. And Sam Ellinger, like what a lot of people know, plays a lot more like Carson Wentz and a guy that Frank Reich likes to use more than a Jacob Eason. He's more mobile. He can go get you yards after catch. He's done the RPO a lot of times. I mean, I don't think it's something that we're going to have to worry about for a couple years, but I think it is something to say Sam might become the backup quarterback at some point. He might be the one to push Jacob Eason even more. It's always about competition. It's always about pushing guys to the next level and always finding that backup guy who's ready to step in case something happens. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both there.
I think one of the biggest reasons is the differences between Ellinger and Eason. All right. So Eason is your prototypical pocket quarterback. He's an incredible arm talent. Okay. Great arm talent. Questions on his ability to make decisions and accuracy on the move. Okay. Yeah. Whereas Sam, on the other hand, he's going to fill a specific role. Now, when you're practicing with your top defense against, like, you're getting ready to, say, play the Buffalo Bills or the Houston Texans or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens, you got these really good scrambling, running quarterbacks. You're not going to want your top dog Carson Wentz out there running his butt off, in front of those guys. No, I mean, you have a scout team quarterback for that, and you're not going to be using a guy who is not that mobile, not incredibly mobile in Eason. You want a guy that can do that, and I think Sam fills that role very, very well. And now the Colts did have a guy that they signed. He was an undrafted free agent from last year, and Sam and him will be, and he's also mobile, but I think those two guys will be fighting this offseason to take that role on the Colts. And I think Sam is actually a better prospect than what the other guy was. I can't remember if it's Fulton or something. I can't remember 100%.
Yeah, James
but
Moulton, I think.
Moulton, yeah, but yeah, I honestly I believe that's the case, and you always want uh, different styles of players on your team at the same position, and I really believe that's why Sam was drafted. Um, let's see, does Isaac Rochelle make the team?
I think he makes it originally. I think that we might use him for depth piece at some point. I just really don't know, though. It's really going to depend on, how training camp goes down. I mean, that's the ultimate point. Is he's going to have to earn his spot. So, it's not like he was brought here on a big contract. He was brought on a team friendly deal, so anything can happen there. But it wouldn't shock me if he makes it, but it also wouldn't shock me if he didn't.
All right, Dylan Green, who asked this question, my answer to that is I think he will to begin the season because I think Deo starts the year off on IR.
Yeah.
And then after he comes off of IR, he'll probably be put on PUP or something of that nature. We'll see. I don't think because PUP you can only be on PUP for so long. Okay, IR can be an entire season if you want. The Colts, it just depends upon how Deo looks when the season comes around to getting ready to start. Whether they think that they'll have him on PUP for 4 weeks. I think PUP is 6 weeks max.
Yeah,
I think so. But anyhow, it just depends, on how long they believe Deo will be out of commission to begin. Because Deo's not starting the season. There's just no way. So I think Isaac Rochelle will make the team. He probably won't be a starter, but I think he'll make the team. Just will he be here at the end of the season? That's a different story.
Yeah.
Sean P, what's up, guys? Thanks for all the great content and draft coverage. You are
appreciate you, man.
Welcome. Yeah. All you guys here in the chat's the reason why we do this stuff in the first place.
Heck yeah, man.
Ant Rogers, what up? Lawrence and Derek, we have a long tradition of signing undrafted free agents. Do you think any make the team this year?
I know Lawrence and I were talking about a couple of them beforehand, and Deion Johnson, the running back from Duke, is the one that I believe makes this roster because, well, for a couple reasons. I think they really branched out a little bit to make sure that he got paid, to make sure that we got him to sign here. And, with the running back situation the way it is, I know how much Ballard likes his running backs, but is it fair to say maybe he decides to keep this guy over Wilkins? I don't necessarily think that will happen, but it could happen because, Johnson's had a really good career at Duke, offers a lot of different flexibility in positions that I don't know if Jordan Wilkins can provide him. So, Wilkins' spot has kind of dropped a lot over this last 6 months with this Indianapolis team. So, he is the fourth running back for a reason. So maybe they decide to call it quits and, provide it with a guy that can do something on special teams.
I'm going to say, I think the Colts, was it like 22 years straight that they've signed an undrafted free agent? Oh my God. I think they hold the NFL record currently.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they will. And the reason I'm going to say they will is certain positions that they weren't really able to go very deep on to get depth, cornerback, linebacker, left tackle. I think those are 3 positions that you could look at mainly for special teams, but depth at the positions as well is something that the Colts could be looking at. That's my thought. I think there's incredible depth at wide receiver. I think we got like 4 or 5 tight ends. I don't think we need any more of those currently. But yeah, I think has a lot to do with depth and special teams, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Let's look.
My Patriots updates. Get out of here with that BS, bro. You would take the Colts O-line in a heartbeat, and you know it.
Now, generally, I will say this about the Patriots O-line: they are deep. They're
very deep. They also just lost their best offensive lineman at that. So, Joe Thuney was their best one. So, I can make
they do. The Patriots do seem to breed offensive linemen, though. That's kind of weird. So
yeah, their scheme, the way they run their offense, really does mold some really good offensive linemen.
Yep. Nano thinks that Wentz will have a great year. That's awesome. What number do you think Pay will end up having? Dylan Green says
I'm just going to
95.
take a walk. I don't know. I have no freaking idea. None.
He can't have this one.
No, he can't have that one. He can't have 98. So either he keeps. I don't know if they let defensive linemen have in the teens now with the number change or no.
I don't think so.
I'll say 91. Let me just throw a guess to say 91.
Okay.
I don't think anyone on the roster currently has 91.
He's not going to get 99 either. I'll guarantee that. Watch it.
Yeah.
Well, 50's available. 50 wouldn't be a bad number for him. I mean, that's what Houston had. He's no longer on the team. So that's a good possibility. What in the world? Colts Hill. I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't understand the question either. I'm just gonna skip that.
So if you can, if you could, because it might be some kind of a typo or something. Because you says, do you think her sons are going to start for seven?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Unless you're talking about Pay, because it was a big situation about him and his mom, but. Granson and Stasha had impressive media interviews. I like those guys a lot. That's cool, Matthew. DPN, what's going on, Ray? Appreciate you being here. Yes, I'm answering questions. You know that.
Any question.
Answer. Yes, I'll ask questions or I'll answer questions. You may not like my answers, but I'll answer any questions that you got. That's pertaining to the NFL, okay? Don't ask me if I prefer.
Don't ask me anything about the NHL or European soccer, okay? I don't know anything about that crap. Ugh.
Okay, Kevin Stansberry, good question here. Enjoyed the Kevin Rogers coverages from both our channels. Do you guys plan on doing more with the other with any other staffers? Also, I liked your Pay film room. Other rookies planned. Well, first off, I appreciate the fact that you watched my Pay film room. I do have another one planned. I got Deo in the works currently. And as for the Kevin Rogers, I'll let you answer that first, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically just from Colts PR reaching out to both of us and saying, we got the chance to talk with Kevin Rogers, which is a real blessing. Really great to kind of pick the mind of somebody that is behind some of the decisions that go into this. So, it was really cool for Lawrence and I to both be able to ask questions and kind of learn as to why the Colts made the selections the way they did. So, yeah, I mean, as long as Colts PR allows us to continue to have some of these, then we will definitely continue to. I mean, last season, I remember I got to do a session with Coach Reich and the GM Chris Ballard, so that was really awesome. Hope maybe somehow, I don't know how training camp and everything will go. Maybe some of the guys will be able to sit in on some maybe we will get to do maybe an in-person meeting with Ballard and Coach Reich and other people like that, or maybe they just continue to have it virtually and the meetings and stuff, but who knows? We'll just have to see. That kind of stuff normally just comes with Colts PR running the show on that.
Yeah, I emailed them right afterwards and thanked them for the opportunity, and they emailed me back and said that they were planning on involving us into more stuff in the future. So
yeah,
that's that. I can't say who, what, where, when, and how, but
yeah, that's just kind of on them, and we'll be like, yes, sir, no, sir, yeah, we'll show up.
Exactly,
we'll do it. Yeah, absolutely,
exactly. Nano, who's your favorite person we got in the draft? He addresses that to me, but I'm going to send that to you first.
Okay. Favorite person that we got in the draft. I'm the more I keep hearing people talk about Granson, the more he's falling. I'm falling in love with him, and the way that they do that. But honestly, I think the one that really just kind of like for me, I love a good underdog story. I love me a good underdog story. I think Julian Blackmon kind of gave me that feeling of it. So Dio is the one that I absolutely love. I know Colts fans are like, well, he's not going to play for the first month and a half of the season. I understand, but this guy, for anyone that wants to know, since it's been measured, this guy has the longest wingspan of any defensive lineman ever measured. This guy is freakishly long. Okay, I love the raw attributes that this guy has and what he could potentially bring. I love it. Do I know what he's going to be in the future? I don't know. But, I mean, he seems eager to be here in Indianapolis and be with that defense. He's going to have a lot of guys behind him that are going to help develop him. I am very excited, and I am in love with that pick. At first I didn't know who he was. I didn't realize, but then I turned on the film. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember the film from this guy. I remember people talking about him last season during college football season. So I love it, man. I can't wait to see that one work out.
All right. I know that I gave him a C+ draft grade. That doesn't mean that he wasn't my favorite guy that we got in the draft. Again, I know he's not going to start this season. I'm going to agree. It's Deo. And what I like so much about him is every snap he looks like he puts out like 150% of everything he possibly has out there on the field. And sometimes it's to the point where he looks incredibly out of control. But at the same time, even if it is out of control, he's still somehow getting into the backfield because the offensive linemen don't know how to block out of control Tasmanian devils, right?
Yeah.
So
Facts.
that's how I see it. I think maybe not this year, but I think beginning of next year we're going to see a very impressive pass rush by the Colts. Ray wants to know, hey, can you explain Newton's laws of motion using the principal theory?
Newton's law. Well, the only one I know is an object in motion will stay in motion unless there's another force that stops it. I just know that gravity exists and the laws of mass are a thing. So that's basically it, man. I think it was 7th grade science when I learned that crap, man. So I don't remember all of them right off the bat, but it'd be something for my brother to ask. He was doing physics and shit like that in college, so maybe he knows.
Well, Ray, as you know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So my question to you is, can you?
Oh, all right. All right.
All right, Dylan, least favorite draft pick. I'm gonna give that to you, Derek. What's your least favorite draft pick?
You're gonna make me do that already? Like, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
All right, I'll do it. I'll start off.
Fine.
I'll start off. My least favorite draft pick. The non-trade that happened. I was hoping for a trade up in the second round. It did not happen. That's what that. Even though we got Deo and he was my favorite pick, and it was in the second round, I was really hoping that the Colts was going to trade up for a specific player, and it did not happen. So even though it's not a pick that was my least favorite, it was the lack of the move that was my least favorite.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't want to discredit any of these guys yet.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do that a year from now, a year or two from now when they don't do anything, then I'll say it. But right now I'm just I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be labeled as a hater for somebody that I haven't seen play yet. So
yeah, I got you on that. Aaron Stackhouse, what's up, guy?
What's up, Aaron?
Do you see the Colts trying to fill the left tackle need through free agency, say Charles Leno?
Cody and I literally just did a video on this like 2 hours ago, and we were talking about like all the available left tackle free agents that are still out there. Look, guys, there's about 4 or 5 of them out there that, the Colts could still make a good move on and, really could fill that spot. There's guys like Eric Fisher that are available, Russell Okung, Charles Leno, like you guys mentioned. Mitchell Schwartz is another one that people are talking about. Dennis Kelly, the right tackle from the Titans this last year, that could move over. There's a lot of different guys there, and some of them you could have for several years. Some of them are just fill-ins for a year or two. So I think that they will. I honestly think that they will. There's a bunch of guys that are going to drop in value due to the fact that they haven't been signed yet. You get them on a cheaper deal, and there's a couple of good quality left tackles that can really fill that void.
All right, so I've said this already yesterday on your show, I think. Because of the draft, there was a lot of tackles taken in this draft. Maybe not by the Colts, but by other teams. And as we've seen with Chicago, as you were just stating, there's going to be some left tackles out there that's going to be released by other teams, not just because to make room for their draft picks, but they just drafted this guy. It's a lot cheaper. They're going to be trying to make room on their cap space, so there'll be cap casualties. The Colts, I guarantee, will be keeping an eye on that, and if something like that happens, that will also be on their radar. So keep an eye on things within the next month before training camp. I'll guarantee the Colts will most likely sign another left tackle sometime.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they'll be the starter or out there fighting with Sam Tebby for the starting position, we'll see, but I don't know.
Hey, my Patriots updates. I love me a good steak sandwich. I love me a good steak sandwich, man.
Just plain, folks. Thanks for being here, my guy. I feel strongly this draft prepared us for the loss of our number 1 next year by getting 2 top defensive ends. Who is ready this year, and another who will be ready to hit the ground running next year. That is an incredibly good point by Just Plain, folks. Remember, if Carson Wentz does well, we were not going to have a first-round pick next year. And with Ballard selecting 2 guys that have first-round talent, even though one is hurt and may not play much this year, it's basically like using his pick to replace that. Yeah, replace that situation for next year. That is a great point. I didn't actually think about that. All right.
Just plain, folks, man. I haven't seen you on one of my streams in forever, bro. I haven't seen you in forever, man. It's good to see you in here.
Wow, the stream is moving so much faster than what I'm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. Hey, I see 31 people in this stream and only 16 likes. I want to see at least 20 here in the next few minutes, please.
Okay. Let's see here. Patriots update. Yeah, actually, Ted Karras was a good re-grab for the Patriots. I actually like Ted Karras. I thought he was going to go to the Jets personally, but for the Patriots to get him back was a good job. You already answered your favorite sandwich, right?
Yeah, steak sandwich.
See, I am a giant tenderloin guy. That's an Indiana thing. So
gotcha.
I love my giant breaded tenderloins. Aunt Rogers, you guys are from Indiana. Have you heard the tight end we drafted, like high school rumblings or anything of that nature?
I'm not from Indiana. I have no freaking idea.
I am from Indiana, and no, I did not. So I'll just let you know. The Colts have tactically endorsed the work of both your channels, Just Plain Folks says. And
hey, I doubt that sincerely, but I'm sure that Ballard and company don't mind that there's a couple of Colts podcasters out there that actually support what they do versus, trashing them all the time, that I'm sure their kids probably mention a bunch of times to them every day. But Adrian229, thanks, man. Appreciate you. You need to get some sleep, man. It's late.
My Patriots updates. I actually like the pick from Sean Davis. The reason for that is I believe he's going to be an exceptional special teams gunner, opposite of Odom. So just let you know that he's a hard hitter.
There's a dude in here named McChicken Vlogs.
Yeah.
It said his favorite sandwich is here.
McChicken,
I have never had a McChicken in my life, yo. Never had a McChicken.
McChicken is actually a moderator on DPN, Dear Pats Nation, that's on here.
Oh, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
He comes in and joins my. I got a lot of Patriots that come in here because I'm over on Dear Pats Nation a lot.
Yeah, right. I've seen that. Yeah. So.
Patriots say Colts draft was B, maybe B minus, and that's about I think where both of us put it too.
Yeah, that's where both of us were.
Yeah, yep. Dabney, we must sign Charles Leno. He's got 334 and what does that say? 5/8 inch arms. I don't know how in the world you got that on there.
3 1/8. Yeah, I don't know how you did the fraction thing there, but interesting.
That's amazing because I can't do that. Same as Costanzo, but Costanzo was a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
So
ironically enough, Leno was a 7th round draft pick.
Yeah.
So he did fight mighty fine for himself, bro. I mean, 7th round draft pick, and he got a $37 million contract. So. Mm-hmm. I mean, good for you, man. Good for you, making some money, man.
Leno's
not many 7th rounders get that kind of contract.
Leno is not a very good run blocker. He does not have a lot of power in his run blocking scheme, so I'm a little worried about that.
But then again, people are saying like, well, compared to Tevy, Tevy's got that same problem. He's got great fundamentals. He's just not overwhelmingly strong.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of wanted Okung and Fisher over him and Tevy because they naturally just have stronger. They're just stronger. So
that's what you look at generally in a left tackle anyhow is not someone who's necessarily strong but quick because you got to be able to handle those speed rushers on the outside. So I get it.
There's a dude named Corndog 202 in here as well.
Hey, Corndog! I don't know who you are, but thanks for being in here.
What up with all these foodie channels that are on here, man? You got McChicken Vlogs, and you got Corndog 202.
I am okay with that, as long as you're in here.
Yeah,
and contributing and not being a troll, I'm all good with it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Philly cheesesteaks are incredible. I'm too hungry, but who cares? I'm eating in a bit. Yeah. Plain Folk says he watches all your streams. And I think
I appreciate it, Plain Folks. I figure you do watch them every now and again. I know that's sometimes it's difficult for us to keep track of the chat a lot. I know I've seen you a few times, but it just feels like it's been hard to see you in there sometimes. I feel like sometimes I just don't see you in there.
Joseph Thornburg, nice to see you in here. Thanks again. Says that he likes the Colts draft as well. He thought it was solid. Patriots updates, love your laugh. I have a unique laugh, and I understand it. And I got made fun of my laugh when I was growing up because, I was told Woody Woodpeckerish laugh, And it got to the point where I was no longer embarrassed about it. I was like, it's mine, it's unique, and I'm going to own it.
And just say, screw all of you. My laugh is never the same twice. I always have a different laugh every time. People say it's weird. I enjoy it, though.
Hey, B asks, why are there so many Pats fan here? Just curious. I am a Patriots outsider. Dear Pats Nation asks me to come and join their streams to give my opinions as an outsider because it's important to have a guy that is not, strictly fan base to come in and just give an outside opinion. So that's what I do on a lot of channels, not just Pats Nation, but also, Jets and Browns and Ravens and Steelers and other teams, Giants. I've been on a lot of different channels. So, but I'm generally on Dear Pats Nation quite a bit as an outsider. And he also uses my film room talents. So that's why.
Yeah, Leno was a cap release. Yeah, I mean, and they drafted Tevin Jenkins in the 2nd round so they can pay him a little less per year. And, like I said, he's getting paid. I mean, Leno's getting paid over $9 million a year. So, it's a lot of money.
Dylan Green, if you create an account for Curly Fries, I will follow it.
I will follow it too.
All right, just let you know that.
Patriots Update says I'm gonna DM Big Mac and Philly. That's funny, dude.
Corndog says, "What jerseys do you guys have?" He has a Pittman jersey. Do you have any jerseys, Derek?
I have an old Andrew Luck jersey, and I have a Darius Leonard jersey / T-shirt. It's kind of how that is. So, outside of I've never been a ginormous jersey fan. Always just way too freaking expensive for my taste. So, I don't usually get a lot of memorabilia to celebrate. I just compensate for that for my extreme emotion when it comes to the game. So,
I used to have a ton of jerseys. I moved this back a little bit so I could show you. This is the only jersey I have left from my house fire from about 5.5 years ago. And
it is Freeney.
It is Freeney. It is a Dwight Freeney jersey. It's the only one that made the house fire. I also have the only other jersey that I was able to acquire since then is a Darius Leonard green military jersey.
Oh, cool.
Which I really like that one as well. So I plan on getting other jerseys. It's just it takes money. I mean, they're like $100, if you get them official. So it just takes time. Let's see here. McChicken says, and by the way, McChicken is actually a pretty smart dude. He follows the NFL really, really well. Jermaine, dude, I can't pronounce that last name, just let you know, is a free agent. Only problem, he played for the Patriots, and they're hit or miss in free agency. That ain't no lie. See, the problem with the Patriots offensive linemen is their scheme fit, right? They're specifically there for a specific reason, and when they seem to perform really, really well when they hit free agency and they get signed for big money, and sometimes they do well and sometimes they don't. So that would have to be a situation where the scout team would have to know what in the world they're doing when they go to sign someone from the Patriots. Just plain, folks, says somebody needs to defend this draft. No way you guys can call it a B- at this point. The college left tackles are not ready for the prime time. We signed a veteran offensive tackle, and this might be an A+. Look, I save A draft grades for home run, guaranteed, out of the park selections. Okay? I don't give an A lightly. B's are my good, like really good drafts. There's no such thing as an A+ draft in my book. It can't happen. I don't see someone selecting 7 guys that are home run out of the parks. And that's the only way an A+ would happen in my book. Now, also, if at least half of these guys that are drafted are still on the team in year 4 of their rookie contract, if half of them, this is a good draft. Because
like the A+ is the 2018 draft. A+ was the 2018 draft for us because you acquired 8 different players, 6 of which are still on the team, and 5 of which are relative starters / role players, and 3 of which are all pro at their position. That is A+. That is the literal definition of an A+.
Yeah.
But, not many other times are you going to hit on a draft like that. That was one of the best. That might be the best draft that we have ever seen. Mm-hmm. So, that rarely ever happens.
And you don't see the results of drafts until, 2-3 years down the line. So,
yep.
we still got a little bit of time to look at and see how that works out. This is
Well,
just initial knee-jerk reactions to
we
the draft.
knew the 2018 draft after that season. We knew that was an A+ one because Braden Smith being a very solid right tackle, Nyheim Hines being a special player, Darius Leonard leading the league in tackles, Quentin Nelson being a first-team All-Pro. We knew right off the bat what that draft did for this team, and it was exceptional.
Okay. Another thing that a lot of people have to realize at left tackle with the Colts is, everybody said, well, when Anthony Costanzo left, look what happened. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? That's not a fair assessment because our backups were god-awful. LaRaven Clark was not a fair assessment of what happens if you do not have a Pro Bowl left tackle because LaRaven Clark was a F- tackle in the NFL, in my opinion. So, and I have no idea. The only reason Ballard kept him was the simple fact that, he had the measurables that Ballard liked, and that was it. But he wasn't good. He was not good at all. Let's see here. Ooh, Matthew Stansberry. Crinkle fries or curly fries?
Curly fries. Just depend. Well, I shouldn't say that. Arby's curly fries, yes. But other crinkle cut fries, I'll take those.
Yeah, I'm a Penguin Point guy. I like their. That's an Indiana-based restaurant, though.
Here's another feel good story about Leno. About Charles Leno. Says as a 7th-round rookie in 2014, Charles Leno Jr. bought a Walmart air mattress and crashed on Kyle Long's floor. Says he didn't know how long he would last. Leno made it 7 years and impacted countless others, including more than $70,000 in donations around Chicago last year alone. So this guy crashed on a teammate's floor on an air mattress, not knowing if he was going to make it. And now that man's dishing out $70,000 in donations in the Chicago community. Wow. I mean, talk about a really good field story for a 7th-round draft pick, man.
Yeah.
Not many guys get that kind of success. And, I mean, good Lord, that's great to see.
Nano505 says, as of right now, I only have a Wentz jersey, but I'm getting a Xavier Rose jersey on my birthday. That is cool, considering he's had 2 back-to-back 1-year deals, with the Colts. But, he was solid last year. I have every faith in the world that he'll be solid again this year. So it's a worthy grab. Worthy grab. I don't know if he'll be on the Colts after next year. We'll see. Definitely Colts. We need to see some of the younger guys step up in the cornerback position. Let me see here. What the hell? What is truffle fries?
I've never had truffle fries.
I've never heard of them. Truffles are mushrooms, aren't they? I mean,
I'm not sure.
That sounds gross. Ew.
I saw somebody said if Wentz was to go down, who would y'all choose between Jacob Eason and Sam Ellinger?
Eason.
Yeah, I would choose Eason because Eason's been in the system now for over a year. He understands the playbook a lot more, understands how to be an NFL quarterback in the sense of he's been around the locker room for a while. So, and
he's a better arm talent. He's a guy that I feel like because of the good offensive line, he'll be able. Eason is more like Rivers, where he's got good arm strength. So, if he doesn't have to take off and move, he's got good accuracy, and the Colts have that kind of offensive line where you don't have to move as much. That one guy, what's up? My only concern is we have drafted defensive ends every year with Ballard, and bam, that's a big point. But here's the deal. He has yet to draft a first-round talent until this year, and then he grabbed 2 first-round talents. All those other defensive ends that he's grabbed have been second-rounders, right? He's drafted a defensive end in the second round every year except last year. Every year. That blows my mind. But they were second-round guys that had really, really high ceilings. Pay is a guy whose base is a lot higher than what those other guys that we've gotten in the second round. And Deo, I think Deo's just physically a beast. So I think both these guys will reach their potential faster than what guys like Ben Banigou and Teray, as long as they stay healthy, you know. I mean, or we could have something like what we had with Teray, you know, where every time we think that we're going to get something great out of him, he ends up getting hurt, and that sucks. I miss. Yeah, Matthew Stafford. I want to say Stafford. I keep saying Stafford at Stansbury. Sorry, he knows a Penguin Point over by his house closed. Penguin Point's awesome in Indiana, guys. Who are some of your favorite drafts outside of your team?
Well, I really liked what Chicago did, trading up to get Justin Fields. I thought that was the best quarterback selection of the whole draft, don't get me wrong. And then going to get Tevin Jenkins to block for him at the left side, I think that's really impressive. I really liked what the Jets did. I really liked what the Jets did, actually. And I know, who was it here? Aaron Stackhouse said he was a fan of the Jets picks as well. I mean, I really liked what they did. You know, when they drafted their quarterback, what did they do afterwards? They drafted multiple offensive linemen, drafted another wide receiver and a running back, and got some extra help in the secondary as well. I felt that they really addressed, you know, they said that, okay, we're rebuilding this offense the way we want to do it, right? Zach Wilson, you get a couple offensive linemen to help shore up that offensive line. You know, Mekhi Becton is a relatively good left tackle. Adding Elijah Vera Tucker into that middle is really going to help impact that left side. You know, you get some other wide receivers, which they already did in free agency, but now they got a lot of offensive weapons now for Zach Wilson. You're going to have a semi-decent offensive line, and Salah is real. We already know he's good on the defensive side. He's going to help us shore up that defense. I think the Jets really did themselves a good favor here. I hated the quarterback they selected, but I really like what they did outside of that due to, you know, they really did what they needed to do, which was make sure they were building around the quarterback they selected.
Two teams that I think did a really good job. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, even if you take Trevor Lawrence out, I think they did a very good job filling needs. But to be fair, they had so many needs, it was almost impossible to miss. All they had to do was hit BPA every time. Just tag the BPA button over and over and over, and they're filling needs. Scary thing, I think the Patriots had one of the best freaking drafts in this draft, and that's scary. They got themselves another pocket quarterback at 15. They didn't have to trade up to get him at Mac Jones. They got the best defensive tackle in the draft, you know, in the second round, which is an amazing thing. You know, they got a good, probably the most underrated running back in this draft, in my opinion. So I think the Patriots did well as well.
Yeah.
TJ Joe asked Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich or Jamarcus Webb at left tackle.
I have never had a Popeye's chicken sandwich. I need to try that. But I've seen what y'all do to these Popeyes employees over that sandwich. I'll probably take Jamarcus just so that way nobody else has to suffer.
There's not a Popeyes around my neighborhood, but there is one currently. It's funny you asked that question, TJ. There's one being built literally right now 4 blocks down the road. First Popeyes in my town. So ask me that question again in 3 months. I got enough time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions. Oh, I've got a super chat. Nice. Brian Walton asks, do you think Miami did well in this draft?
I want to look at it. I'm going to look.
All right. You go take a look at Miami.
I'm going to take a look.
Give us a moment.
Where am I at? Come on, where am I at here?
Appreciate the super chat.
That's not what I need.
We're going to go check it.
Okay, here we go.
Remember, there's 32 teams in the NFL. We can't cover all of them in a matter of, 2 days. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this: the first pick they got Waddle, and I think that was a really good pick. I like Waddle. I know that people have concerns with the injury history, but I'll be completely honest with you. There were a lot of people that did think Waddle was actually the number one wide receiver in this whole draft, even over Jamar Chase, had he not gotten hurt. And Devontae Smith certainly wouldn't have had his Heisman season had he not gone down. But I really like Waddle. I think he's a really good player. They addressed defensive end, which they obviously needed to. Phillips, they obviously didn't really think the injury concern was that much for them, but you know, he is a hometown product too. He's not moving very far. You know, he's moving just across state from, or actually not even across state. He's moving literally across town. That's all he has to deal with. And then they surprised a lot of people with, you know, Morig really fell. I don't know why that was, but a lot of people were interested to see Javon Holland, and they selected him. I think that's a good one. They got Eichenberg, who I thought was really good. I don't know why people had such an issue with him. I know there's not something he does overwhelmingly great, but he's fundamentally the best left tackle in this whole draft. And I really like if you can develop him, he could potentially be the second best left tackle coming out of this whole draft. And I'll be completely honest about that. Got a tight end in Hunter Long. That was a good pick. And then, you know, didn't have a pick at all from 4, 5, and 6, but then we're able to draft a backup tackle as well, and Larnell Coleman. For being a top-heavy draft, I felt that this was a really solid selection of picks. I mean, they addressed every need that they felt they had. They got arguably some of the best players at their spots, but, I mean, Waddle, Phillips, and Eichenberg, and all those picks. I mean, I really liked what Miami did for such a top-heavy draft.
Waddle was a good pick. I think it might have been a little bit of a reach at 6. But a lot of people, as you say, thought he was the best receiver in the draft, and that it was definitely a need. So, yeah, I can't really put a hammer on that. Jalen Phillips, as most of you guys know who follow me, was my favorite pass rusher in the draft. And when Miami took him, I was so ticked off. I think I cussed straight up on my live stream while I was watching it. I was madder than heck. So, congratulations. I think that if Phillips stays healthy, he's going to be the best pass rusher in your division. Just FYI. The only thing I don't have a problem with the Holland pick. I don't have a problem with the Eichenberg pick. The only thing that I really don't like about the Miami draft is, in my opinion, they needed to go running back higher in the draft. I think they should have spent a little bit of effort grabbing a top-notch running back to really help out Tua long term. Because a solid run game really helps the development of a quarterback. But outside of that, I think they did really, really good. Guys, one more question with that. Anthony Hurt, both of y'all. Oh, Anthony Hurt says, thank both of y'all for the Colts intel. Makes my day go by, and I learn more from you guys than the people that get paid the big bucks to do it. Go Colts. Agreed. I'm still looking for another question. Do you see one in there that you want to answer? We're going to answer.
Well, I appreciate you, Anthony, for the kind words there. Yeah. Really appreciate that. What do you guys think about it?
Harrison, we already answered the question about Charles Leno earlier.
Yeah, we thought it would be a relatively decent pick. Just depends. I don't see a lot of other questions in here. Says, I don't know how a Heisman winning wide receiver doesn't go top 10. Well, technically he did. He did get selected number 10, so.
I'm not, okay, so I grew up having dogs and cats. My Patriots updates. I grew up having a dog. Had him 16 years. Had to put him down because something happened to him. But I've had multiple cats my whole life. I like either one. I just don't want a big indoor cat, and I don't like ankle biter or big indoor dog or ankle biter. I want a normal sized dog. That's that's why I kind of like cats. They're generally quiet.
I like dogs.
I know. I know you do. We got opposites here, you know.
Mhm.
Find yourself a question. If we have it, because I know there's a few of them above Brian Walton's super chat.
If the Bills don't make the playoffs, if Bill doesn't make the playoffs again and Tom wins another, does his legacy become tarnished?
That's an interesting question.
Very interesting question.
I don't think so, personally. It's two different situations. You know, that's like when Peyton Manning went to Denver. Two different teams when he went over there, right? You can't say, well, the Colts' legacy was tarnished because, you know, obviously Peyton Manning was the reason for all of it. It took a whole team to do that. So I don't get it. It really, I think this year depends on individual basis, right? And I think that Bill Belichick did a good job this offseason, not only with the draft, but free agency, went out and grabbed a bunch of guys. Now, if he ends up not getting to the playoffs this year, then we start making question marks. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I'd say a little bit. I mean, it's not like it's going to take away the whole argument of everything, but I mean, there's going to always be that little bit. But I think Joseph has one more question for you on there.
Yeah, I seen that it's there. I'm waiting on it to pop up on my screen. It takes about 30 seconds or so. And Anthony Hurt asked the exact same question right afterwards. So this will be the last question that we answer. As soon as it pops up in my super chat, or it's in the super chat, but it'll pop up right here because it'll make a noise. Any moment, actually. I think I got it set for two. There it is. Thank you for the super chat, Joe. Appreciate that. Brass tacks. What's your over under on Colts wins this year, Derek?
I'll do over under on 10, honestly.
All right, Joe, again, appreciate the super chat. Here's the deal. I think the Colts are technically better than what they were last year, but because of the schedule outside of their division probably being the toughest outside of the division schedule in the NFL, I don't think we win. I think I'm agreeing right here with Derek on 10.5. I'm going to say 10.5 is the over-under. I think that the Colts will probably win 10, maybe 11. They might win 11, you know, go 11-7.
With that extra,
11-6
game, too. So
yeah. So 11-6, I think, is fair as the over-under situation. So, but thank you again so much.
Thank you, Michael, for the kind words as well.
Yes, thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here and all the questions. It was very, very fun. Please don't forget, smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag the notification bell. That way you're notified next time I go live. Check out the links in the description for links. Check out Derek Larger and on Twitter. Make sure you check out Bring the Juice podcast here on YouTube. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Derek.